Would you like some tips on how to stay more focused? Stay tuned. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, we lead, and we inspire. And we are continuing our series based on the book How Successful People Think by John C. Maxwell. Tremendously talented and worthwhile pundit. If you ever get the chance to read one of his zillion books, which are all fantastic, everyone I've ever read, or see him speak either on video or in person, make sure you take that opportunity. Let's get right to it. Let's focus on how you stay focused. How can you stay focused? Now, once you have a handle on what you should think about, you must decide how better to focus on it. Here are some suggestions to help you with that particular process. First, remove all distractions. Removing distractions is no small matter in our current culture, but it is critical. So how do you do it? First, by maintaining the discipline of practicing your priorities. Don't do easy things first, or hard things first, or urgent things first. Do first things first. The activities that give you the highest net return. And that way, you keep the distractions to a minimum. Second, insulate yourself from distractions. You know, you want to set aside a block of time so that when you're doing your focused thinking, or what I call your quiet thinking time, you do that without interruption. I have a routine every day. I get up, I park myself in this particular chair that I like, I sit there, and I dedicate time to just thinking and reviewing and all the things that we've talked about here during that quiet thinking time. Visualizing, feeling, smelling, touching, tasting the dream, all of the different things, and a zillion thoughts go through your mind. But you have to discipline yourself to set that time aside. That's what separates, one of the things that separates the 5%ers from the 95%ers, the achievers. The 5%ers, that's the group you want to be in. Thinking is an act, it's an intentional act, and it takes discipline. When you do it every day, just like anything else that you do every day, you get better and better and better. You know, master the art of making yourself unavailable when necessary, and go off to your thinking place so you can work without interruptions. You know, Einstein, and I'm sure we can all agree, one of the world's best thinkers ever, when he would really get stuck, you know what he would do? In the middle of the day, he would just lie down on the ground, stop, and think. Or he'd play the violin, or he'd go for a walk. But he had a routine where he said, if I'm having some challenges, I want to give myself that thinking time. Make time for your focused thinking. Now, once you have a place to think, you need the time to think. Because of the fast pace of our culture, people tend to multitask. But that's not a good idea. Switching from task to task can cost you, are you ready? Up to 40% efficiency. According to researchers, if you're trying to accomplish many things at the same time, you'll get more done by focusing on one task at a time, not by switching constantly from task to task. You know, I figured out years ago that my best thinking time is in the morning. One way to gain time for focused thinking is to impose upon yourself a rule that one company has implemented. Here it is. Don't allow yourself to look at your emails or social media until after 10 o'clock in the morning. Instead, focus your energies on your number one priority. Put non-productive time wasters on hold so that you can create thinking time for yourself. Keep items of focus before you. I like to have either little pictures of goals or dreams that I have, or little notes that you put on, you know, with the yellow stickies you put on the bathroom mirror, you put on the windshield of your car or the dashboard. So every time you go to a certain place, you're reminded of that particular goal. Keep those things in front of you. What does that do? It gets you refocused, and it creates what Anthony Robbins likes to call the reactional alteration system, or RAS, whatever he calls it, where when you're thinking about a certain subject, the things around you start to relate to that subject. That gives you more options. And the best people, the best thinkers, are the ones that have the most options on different things to do. That's what makes them great thinkers, because they see things from different angles, different paradigms. That's the way best thinkers think. Set goals. I believe goals are important. The mind doesn't focus until it has clear objectives, but the purpose of goals is to focus your attention and give you direction, not to identify a final destination. As you think about your goals, note that they should be clear enough to be kept in focus, close enough to be achieved, helpful enough to change lives. Now those guidelines will get you going. And be sure to write down your goals. If they're not written, they're not focused enough. And if you really want to make sure they're focused, take the advice of a gentleman named David Belasco, who says, and I quote, "If you can't write your idea on the back of my business card, you don't have a clear idea." Even if you look back years from now and think your goals are too small, they'll have served your purpose, because they'll provided you with a specific direction. Question your progress. Take a good look at yourself from time to time to see whether you're actually making progress. That is the most accurate measure of whether you're making the best use of your focused thinking time. Ask yourself, am I seeing a return for my investment on focused thinking time? Is what I'm doing getting me closer to my goals? Am I headed in a direction that helps me to fulfill my commitments, maintain my priorities, and realize my dreams? Okay, you don't get something for nothing. What are you going to give up? No one could go to the highest level and remain a generalist. You're going to find, like everybody does, that they're good at a few things, and sometimes you have to give up other things. You have to come to the conclusion that, you know what, I may not be so well-rounded. Being focused keeps you from being well-rounded. 99% of everything in life I don't need to know about, do you? I'll try to focus on the 1% that gives the highest return. Being willing to give up some of the things you love in order to focus on what has the greatest impact, that's not an easy lesson to learn, but it's an important one. But the earlier you embrace that, the sooner you can dedicate yourself to excellence on your burning desire, what matters to you the most. Once again, huge shout out to John C. Maxwell, from whom a lot of this verbiage was stolen. Tremendously good author. And we're going to continue with how successful people think next on upcoming videos. Remember the key thing though, don't ration your passion, fashion the passion. I'm Eli's dad.